So I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see an example of what we always did. I mean, for at least the 15 years I've been teaching here, is start with just an intro video to your topic. So I'm going to share my entire screen, and no, it's not giving me an opportunity to do audio, so which it's supposed to. And so this is Cagney's.
And we are here to carry the torch forward.
I ask you to support all women and our fight for equality in all things. You are what democracy looks like.
That was pretty good, just over a little minute and a half, actually 1 minute 40 seconds, and it gave us some emotional context. Question? No question. Okay. And we'll look at Nanako's. This student won $10,000 when she was in my restaurant project studio. Now, hers goes on for a little longer, so we're not going to watch the whole thing. She did a little over 5 minutes, but let's watch it and get the gist of it, and I may skip forward on occasion if that's okay. I can make these available in a share folder that you can watch later. But let's look at this now. Okay, let's get out of here. Bye-bye. So we have a collection of student work that we use for accreditation reviews, and that was for the CETA review. And so there we are. We're going back to my. So I fixed the model, turned off the shadows from our SketchUp session last week on a walkthrough, and so let's watch it. Okay, it's a little fast. I could go in and I can change the settings in this, but today we want to talk iMovie, and we'll do it in iMovie. And so it's free on your Mac for those who have Macs, and if you've never used it, you'll find it's really handy. Even just a bunch of stills and putting together a kind of a slideshow as you would in PowerPoint. I like their transitions and such. Before I did that, I also created a couple boards in InDesign on the living room and Villa Savoie. You know, for example, you know your perspective, your sketch, your floor plan highlighted for that room, and for the terrace sketch title. That's the question.
I don't know if you said it in the last session on Tuesday, but how do you expect us to use those videos? Just what you're showing now is the video that you made with the SketchUp, and the videos that you showed from the students in the concept video that usually we show before the presentation starts. And you were talking about the pre-recording of the whole presentation. Can you just kind of clarify
Well,
how?
I think that I think this illustrated my little presentation today, and how you can thread this together. I would start off the same way with your impact of, you know, what's your thesis topic? Gaia School, because we're living in an environmental crisis, and then power to the women. So that kind of puts us into a mindset. And so that shouldn't be any less than a minute and a half and no more than 5 minutes. And then you take us into the building, and you know, if you choose not to have a walkthrough, that's okay. But today we're going to cover everything. We're going to cover words in here. We're going to, you know, how to make that what Cagney did for the women's power. She took, I think she took that. That's her own video footage of strong women in her life, and then she took some political footage, put that together, how to edit it, and how to put words over it and music to it. So let's start, and so it's a bunch of skill sets today. We're going to here project. Okay. create new project. And so that was the previous media. I'm going to, yes, another question. That little icon here, let's go to it. It's a little slow right now, is to import media for your project. So when you work in iMovie, yes, question. When you work in iMovie, it's called a project. And this arrow up here is to import the media that you're going to use for your project. You can choose to do it directly, but I like having you go through this. So I'm going to import that clip. It had been exported from SketchUp as an MP4. Is here in up this window of the left is where I put my pieces, your media pieces. So they could be MP4s, they could be music, they could be JPEGs, PDFs, PNGs. Okay, let's start with the clip. Okay. Upper right-hand corner is your preview. I play it again. Or not. But if I wanted to make this longer, unfortunately, there's no menu tab for that. You got to click for the menu tab to come up. So you right-click on the clip. So that's your workspace at the bottom. So that's collaging this stuff together. And so we're going to show speed editor. So this bar comes along the top. And so if I want to lengthen it, I can lengthen it by worked for me before. There it goes. Let's make it a little longer. Okay. So it's now spread out time equally. I could also chop these into segments. So let's do that. Let's say I want to go faster somewhere and slower somewhere else. Or let's say I just want to clip it. So with my cursor, I'm going to move. I don't need this aerial from the top, let's say. Let's say I just want to come in there. And I'm viewing it in my preview, upper right-hand corner, and you decide where you want to start it. Right there. So I've got the clipper. Make sure the box is highlighted. And I go to modify. Let's do split clip. I tend to do split clip. We could have trimmed to playhead and just split and delete it at the same time. Splits it into two separate segments where I can put stuff in between. I can speed up this and slow down that. But right now, we just want to get rid of this one. So I highlight it. It's yellow. I hit delete. It's gone. 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 All right. Let's clip it again. Modify. Split clip. I'm going to put a title to it. So this area changes from what had been media to titles. So look at the tab top. We were in My Media, Audio, Titles, Backgrounds, Transitions. Let's pick a title. And this is all designed. You don't have to invent everything. These are Some are better than others. Some are real just dumb. You know, like centered. It's just centered. That's kind of cool. Some move. Here, yeah, this one moves. So let's select that one, and we're going to add it to here. And then, so it's going to be the length of that clip, and it's going to be Corb's relative walk. Hope I spelled that right. Okay. So let's look at that. Let's go to start and play it. See what happens. Oh, it didn't move. All right. Oh, it does. Okay, like the doors, it parts. Like in Moses, it's parting the seas. Okay, and then we're inside. Okay, let's stop. Let's add audio. Let's put airplane taking off. So even though we're talking about sound, we're talking about text, we're talking about movement, it's all very much in our language of visual. Everything can be seen. We see the audio. We see the time. Okay, I'm going to clip that to match that opening clip. So I set my knife, my cutter, with the audio highlighted in yellow. I go up to modify, split clip. There's now two different audio clips. And it's the anchor is upper left. You see on the upper left the green. Let's see your anchor, the starting point of the audio. And I can have the audio start a couple seconds later into the thing by moving it. It's one of those. Let me highlight it. Highlight it. There it goes. I was doing this a lot over the summer. There. Yeah, I could put the starting point further in. So let's do that. And we could watch it immediately. We don't have to wait to process it because we have this preview thing. Did you hear the airplane or not? People? Did anyone hear the airplane?
No.
No? Well, I could play it with the airplane and if I put in the mic in my, let's do that because it's kind of fun. Yeah, I'm going to put the mic in my headphones. Okay, big whoop-de-doo, but still, I thought it was fun. Okay. So what? So we're introducing text. Let's go to the living room. You see I'm scrubbing across the film strip below to find the point at which we get to the living room. And we're inside. let's say here. I'm going to clip it. And so it's highlighted. My cutter's at the where I want to stop. And I'm going to go modify, split clip, think. Cool. I'm going to go back to my media. I want to put in my living room stuff. So I'm in the media, and so it accumulates all my media. And so it's got the clip, the audio. I'm now going to bring in my living room stuff. Hit the arrow, it's going to go back to where I left off. I have a PDF on the living room. Previews, I import. I'm going to bring in some more stuff. Import takes a second because we're streaming and everything. Living room, I have my perspective, and that's all I want. Okay, it's importing. And so I'm going to take that PDF, and you know, I started off by 11 by 17, but in reality, that's not the screen size on a projection. So I then expanded it to match screen proportions. That's 16 by 9, or in this case, I made it 11 by 19.56. Okay, so it'll fill the screen. And I just click and drag. It's pretty easy. Okay. And then I'm going to click and drag this perspective. I'll show you what we're going to do with it. We're going to now introduce transitions and effects. All right, let's go to our PDF. I could do fit and just a static. It is what it is. Let's do that. Let's put them in twice. I could reduce the time on this by simply scrunching it in. So let's say for 2 seconds we look at the board for 2.5 seconds. I know it comes down to fractions of a second where you guys get to micromanage. Okay. So when I go back and hover over it, you see in the upper left 2.1 seconds. Okay. And then this one, it's rather than doing the static fill or crop to fill, we could crop this. We're going to do, if you know the documentarian Ken Burns, Adobe named this feature after Ken Burns because he was pretty inventive. And we can start with fill where like it was in the previous clip. And we could zoom into our floor plan. And it'll figure it all out for us, meaning that's all we have to do. It's very visual. Let's look at it. Okay, we're coming up the stairs. We're entering the room. And then we jump to the board. And then we jump into a zoom. Well, that's not very nice. I mean, that's nice, the zoom in, but the jump from here to here, we need what's called a transition. And some of them are very simple. Some of them are dramatic. Some of them are just hokey. Cross blur is a nice basic one. Fade, all the fade ones are nice. The doorway is a little hokey. And then you could preview them by hovering over. Is that right? Yeah. Here like that. What do I use? Slide to the left. You could do a circle. Yeah, like as we're walking through the door. Let's do this circle. And just like we do with everything else, we click and drag it. Up. You can increase the time on it, decrease the time. We can preview it here. We're walking in. And then we get our board. And then we zoom into our board. That's not bad. Well, let's play it. I've gotten up the stairs in the room. And so this would be your board. I zoom in to the key plan, and then I show them my perspective of the room, a static perspective. That's fine, but we can make this more interesting. We could do a Ken Burns effect on this puppy. Pan across it. Yeah, let's do that. And instead, we're going to start with the window and put this to fill it out. Okay, that's cool. And so that could be your typical, perspective from Revit or whatever. And rather than animating it in Revit, which you could, this goes a lot faster. And you can. So this Ken Burns, if you remember the documentarian, he did the Civil War thing, and there's no film footage, but he made it come alive by moving across dead JPEGs, and he made armies march on and things like that. And one can imagine if this JPEG was twice as wide, I could have started to the left and panned across to the right. But let's watch this. And a transition. Oh, that wasn't much of a transition. I should increase the time on that. Right, that's your perspective, kind of zooming out from the window. So let's increase the transition here. So you just double click it, and let's really pump it up. 4 seconds. That's probably too much. 3 seconds. And you see it visually get bigger or visually get smaller. This is all very good because we're visual people. So they say Mac is for dummies like us. But I still didn't do what we wanted to. I'm gonna pop in another transition. So with the tab highlighted, I got my transition choices. Let's do the blur. I like the blur. Let's double click it and say 4 seconds. Apply. And see what we get. Yeah, see, that's kind of cool. Where we have the view of the perspective and model, and then okay, so let's play it and see if it actually worked. Goes to dissolve, and then we got our board, and we zoom into our board, And so you get a little, I might increase the time on the perspective, right? All right. I've got another one for the terrace. Let's do that as a refresher. Okay, we'll just put it at the end of the clip. Go back to my media. We're going to import from living room of Villa Savoie. There goes. And we're going to the terrace. Oh, wait, we're going to take, that's a nice sketch. Let's take that and that. Import that. I also want to import the PDF. Go back to Villa Savoie. I have a PDF on the terrace. Okay. Wait, did we get the? I'm not seeing the PDF on the terrace. Oh, I might have hit the InDesign file by accident. There he goes. There's the preview. That's the terrace. Let's take it. There it is. Okay. Just like before, it's movies made for dummies. I mean, there's limitations to iMovie. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that After Effects and everyone else has. This has exactly what we need. Let's put the perspective in there. And let's, so I'm doing a repeat just so that, you know, and we're going to put that terrace PDF in there twice. Because full repetition is ecstasy. Some now lost song from the 80s. Okay, now I want to put that transition back. I could use the same transition, sure. And double click it. And let's put it to 4 seconds. I could apply it to all my transitions. But I'm still designing this at the moment. I'm just going to do it to this one. Why? Okay. Let's do 2 seconds. That's because the clip, the PDF is only scheduled for 3.5 seconds. Apply. I think we need to expand this a little. Let's see what happens here. Okay, 5 seconds, and then we can do 3, apply. The clips do not have enough media available to change the length of this transition. I don't believe that, but let's just leave it to 0.8 for now until I figure that out. Put this back to where we had it. I don't want to solve every problem in real time here. Okay, and then so we're going to make this one. Remember, we're going to make that fill or fit. Cool. So that's what we see when we get there. And then you want to start in the same place, but then end. I don't know, where do you want to end? The floor plan again. Let's take it to the plan. So you got the yellow arrow saying that that's the center. and we're going in this direction to that center. Cool. It's pretty easy. Oh. Let's play that. Get a quick dissolve. And then we zoom in. Woo! And then let's stop. And then we decide what we wanted here. Maybe we expand this to low. Expand that to something like 5 seconds. Expand this to 5 seconds or so. Okay. So this particular JPEG, this perspective that you made, is bigger than our frame. We filled the frame, but you can see there's content above and below. I kind of like that. That allows me to do an effect that looks like I'm panning vertically. And if I want to reverse there's the reverse. Here goes. Instead of that, we start at the bottom and then zoom out. There it goes. Or you can switch it and do the reverse with this little button. You can also do it by double clicking, and clicking. Okay. And then, so let's add a transition between this and your sketch. It's a cross dissolve. And let's expand the time. 4 seconds. Apply. This is going to be cool. Okay, so we're walking onto the terrace. Walking onto the terrace. You got to fix that transition and turn down the time on that one. Oh, we should have put a transition there. Here, like, oh, did you catch that? Did you catch that? So let's do it again. No, over here. Then it dissolves into the sketch. You know, you can have your finished JPEG and dissolve into your sketch. That's kind of cool. And I have one more thing. We're way ahead of time, so we can talk about this stuff too. I'm going to bring in more media. I love the bathroom. I'm going to bring them all in. We didn't do an animation walkthrough to the living that bathroom, but it's on the same floor. We're not going to do a floor plan for it. And you can move them around by dragging. Oh no, I want to put it in between. There it goes. And actually that first. Okay. So we're going to go from different views within the same space, which is, I'm always encouraging that, because you do all this work on the model and for some reason you're satisfied with a single JPEG, yet it took you 40 hours to build, right? Let's put some transition. Let's first of all start by expanding each of these to a little over 4 seconds. Okay. 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 Now we're going to move from one image to the next. Rather than jumping, let's use that cross blur. Let's do cross blur. You don't want every transition to be different, but okay. And let's see if we can bump this up to 2 seconds. Okay. Cross blur. Select and drag. Bump it up to 2 seconds. Cross blur. Select and drag. Bump it up to 2 seconds. Fine. Go into each of the frames. Oh, and let's put a transition here. 2 seconds. Apply.
Johannes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have to run, but I'm gonna watch the rest.
Okay, yeah, we got most of it, Rachel. You caught everything. I'm just doing
Thank you
this
so much. Have a wonderful
because full
day.
repetition is ecstasy.
Exactly. Have a good
Okay,
day. Thank you so much.
enjoy. This one is also kind of a squarish JPEG. You could go out and include the black if you wanted to. Let's say you wanted to go full. It'll even center it for you. Nice. And that famous lounge chair next to the tub. It's built for a husband and wife. But I want to start with the overall and zoom in, so I flip. So I'm going to start with the full view and zoom into the full lounge chair. Okay. How about this one? Ooh, let's start at the top. And I'm going to want to keep the full width. Sorry. Oh, here. There it goes. And without zooming, it'll just be a pan from top to bottom. But you want to make sure these things are aligned for if that's the effect you want. There it goes. And it usually clicks on pretty. It aligns itself pretty nicely. So we're going to start there and end there. That's cool. And then this party, let's start at the bottom. But we're going to zoom at the same time. And we're going to zoom. Okay. You can bring it down a little. No, that's good. And so we're good. It's getting a little dumb on us here. What happened? So I'm sorry. It didn't. I think we're getting into memory overload here. Yeah. You get the bouncing beach ball. I've been streaming too long. And I got rid of 100 gigabytes of material to do this today off my hard drive. Well, I'm going to stop here. One can imagine the effect all thread together, but we've kind of looked at intentions. I'm going to let the bouncing beach ball do its thing and see and say hello to you. So you can see how you can, even if you don't do a walkthrough animation, you can see how you can get the critic to then zoom in without telling them to zoom in, or give life to that single JPEG, which was a static thing printed on a piece of paper a year ago into something that Ken Burns could be proud of in a PBS documentary. And then what we didn't get to do today is just output it. Oh, it's playing. Hey, here we go. Let's go back to shared screen. Hold on. You hear the plane taking off. I'm going to share the screen again, and just since we started, let's see the fruits of our work. Let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to zoom in. Okay, now we'll go all the way back. There it goes. There's a function to do a voiceover. You could also be playing this and doing the voiceover live. Obviously, write it out ahead of time. I think the thing to start with, before this might seem daunting to everybody, the thing to start with is that first 1.5 to 5 minute intro without your work being done already. That's a nice fade. I like that. A little jiggy because of my system memory. If I exported this and played it, it wouldn't be so jiggy. All right. I'm going to end here, and thank you for putting in extra time. Today was better than last Tuesday, so it's recorded. Unfortunately, it wasn't a separate recording, so you're just going to fast forward to the last 30 minutes. Get to 30 minutes. Pretty good. Thank you. Thanks for a great day. This was a beautiful day. Very proud. Thank you all who stayed, and I will share the link. Be good. Have a nice lunch.